Hey guys, and welcome back to another LOL Champ review. Today I'm actually joined by two guests. One I'm interviewing, X Blackfire, aka Sean. Sean, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody.
You're a little bit quiet, Sean. Is there any way I can turn you up?
You're gonna have to go into your settings, probably. I'm talking normally here.
That is what I'm trying to fix. Ba-ba-ba. Options.
In post, you can always turn yourself down and then turn him up, unless we're doing this live.
How can I turn myself down?
Well, you would actually no, never mind. I'm just
Your internal volume.
yeah,
Oh, just
Bring it down.
talk quieter.
or just move the mic away a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I just did here. I'm gonna move the mic away. I'm going to crank.
My new headset microphone the microphone stopped working like a few weeks ago.
He doesn't seem too quiet to me, Kevin.
No, I'm looking at sound levels on my actual program for you guys.
Oh, I see.
All right, can I have you talk one more time?
Hello.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and crank this up. All right, talk again.
Hello. Rah, 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 rah.
Alrighty, I'm also gonna have to quick drop the mix of League a little bit more. And that
Dropping the bass.
Drop the bass.
Drop the bass.
Perfect. Alright, so we should be ready to go now, but again, I'm joined by Sean, who is going to be the person I'm kind of interviewing, and he's actually going to lead our champ review of this week, as he is an expert on our character this week. And yeah, so he's kind of gonna lead the way on this one and almost teach me and all of you guys, hopefully, a little bit about the character and help me with getting the information I need to write the article this week. Also, a special guest, we have Coke and Rum, or my friend Frodo is joining us to help make sure we can skew the vote and force an all Yorick game, because instead of playing ranked, so that you can follow me and Sean both playing Yorick, we are going to be playing in a game mode called All for One, where we can all play as Yorick. So everyone say hi to Frodo, and Frodo say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Frodo is extremely talented at very little in League.
I've got very few champions that I'm good with, but we'll see what we can do.
So
We'll hope to make Yorick one of them.
Sean is going to help make Yorick one of those and lead the way here. So I'm going to click start, and then Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as we're getting into game?
Well, my name's Sean. I go by Blackfire in League of Legends. I'm a Platinum Yorick main. And in LoL skill, I am technically the 300th best Yorick in the world. So I feel like I can give a proper review of this champion.
And isn't it true that there are very few Yorick kind of mains in Platinum or higher really out there, which speaks a lot.
In general, Yorick is one of the least played champions. I think he's in the bottom 5 of all the champions, which is a shame because he's one of my favorite champions, and a lot of people that do main him are very passionate about him.
That is a shame. But it looks like I'm going to be banning champions. I didn't realize that we had bans in All for One. So Sean, how long have you been playing League of Legends for?
I've been playing League of Legends for about 3 years now. Started at the end of Season 2 and started playing Ranked Solo Queue in Season 4, or Season 3. So it's been quite a while. Luckily, I had a good mentor to coach me through this game.
I'm sure you did. But, how would you say Yorick fits into League right now? Like, why don't you feel Yorick really gets played a lot?
Yorick is the makers of the game, right? They haven't really updated Yorick in quite a long time, and they've added a lot of champions into the game that completely negate a lot of Yorick's utilities. Champs with mobility, really, it's hard for Yorick to get to him because he doesn't have any gap closers or dashes or anything like a burst attack. So it's very hard for him to catch on to those fast-moving targets.
I would see that. So Sean, can I get you to go bot lane with me?
Of course.
So that way I can keep the camera on you as we're talking through and you're kind of explaining what you're doing in game and teaching me how to try and utilize this character, because as Sean has said, he is one of those kind of not used very often champions, so a lot of people really don't know how to use him well, even though they're veteran players, and I'm actually one of those people that doesn't know how to use Yorick very well, mainly because he's just so underplayed. I've never taken the time to learn as much as I really, as much as I really could have about him. And forgive me for eating during this whole thing, because I'm just starving.
As long as we're in this sort of intro stage, we might as well know what sort of utilities and mastery should we be going for?
Well, I value cooldown reduction at level 18. I know not many people have those runes, so a basic kind of rune page would be just a armor, magic resist, and physical damage rune page.
Excellent.
And for masteries, you can go with 21-9 rune page, which is 21 in the offensive tree and 9 in the defensive tree.
Do you think that going for 921 is also viable on Yorick, or why do you choose to do the more offensive build with him over that extra defense?
One of Yorick's abilities, it actually scales with attack damage, which is kind of normal, but also the more attack damage you have, the more it will actually heal Yorick. So having more offensive power, if you will actually give Yorick more sustain in lane.
Alright, then I will equip my 21-9 masteries that I have preset. I'll probably make a video explaining runes and masteries in more detail in the future. And I will be following Sean's lead. So summoner spells, do you think Flash is kind of a must on Yorick?
Yes, Flash is something you really need, and you really need to be able to save it and not waste it, because it is a long 5-minute cooldown that it's really important to be able to catch some of these fast champions that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the spells you need to have, along with maybe Ignite or Teleport.
Okay, so I've actually got a question. So what keeps you kind of interested in League in general? I mean, it's a very big game, and wow, new skin unlocked. Undertaker? Yeah, I'm gonna do Undertaker. I will be...
Pentakill Yorick.
I'll be selecting Undertaker Yorick. But, what has really kind of just kept you involved in League and the community, and what's your opinion on the overall game beyond just the champions, which is generally what we talk about here? But I'd love to give the viewers just a basis for why you've gotten involved in all of that.
Well, to get started, before playing League, I've never played a MOBA game before. I was mostly into MMOs and console games. When I started playing League, it really latched onto my interest of building your own character, similar to an RPG or MMO, where you kind of advance through the game. The difference is that it resets every single game, which I find interesting because every game has its different nuances, and it could be totally different than the last game, or you can totally go with different kinds of ways to play each time. You don't have this one set way to play. And a lot of that revolves around Riot constantly updating the game so that it doesn't become too stale. Like these past seasons, we've had huge updates to the map, to the vision system in game, to a lot of the champions, which Yorick isn't one of those champions that hasn't been updated since his release, and a lot of people are actually mad that he hasn't been updated yet.
I believe that update is in the works, though. It's just a ways out yet. Is that correct? I'm sure you know a little bit, maybe more about that than I do.
Yeah, some of the writers that are working on it said it's very doubtful for even the year 2016 for his rework to come out.
Is it going to be a total rework, do you think, or just an update for some mobility?
They want it to be a total rework, but they want to keep his focus on spawning ghouls in the game.
Oh, cool.
So they're having a lot of trouble, like, trying to figure out a new playstyle for him.
It's definitely a staple for him as far as his character goes. It'd be a real shame to not see that anymore.
Yeah. So before we get too into detail to that, Sean, why don't you give us the description that I normally do of each of Yorick's abilities and give us kind of a rundown of what we can expect when we pick this overpowered, super underplayed champion we call Yorick.
Well, to start off, Yorick's passive is... I am a Yorick main, but I forget the names of his abilities.
That's all right. We all do.
His passive, it gives him 5% bonus damage and 5% bonus resistance to all attacks done to or against him for each ghoul that he has spawned on the field. Yorick's Q, W, and E all do spawn ghouls, as well as his ultimate also spawns like a ghost of another champion. So using Yorick's passive, you can potentially add 20% damage to your auto attacks and 20% resistances to all damage inflicted upon you.
So what item should we be starting here?
I would go with a catalyst.
For starting items,
flask?
just start items. What is the first thing we buy?
Oh, you want to rush for a tier and go for a Manimune as soon as you can.
Alrighty, I'll be grabbing that then, this, and this.
The reason for that is Yorick is mana gated. Since he is pretty strong with all of his abilities, that he needs to be like restrained by his mana.
So what abilities should we start with, and why don't you just in order run through what each his Q, W, and E do? Beyond just spawning a ghoul, I know each ghoul kind of does its own thing.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Well, his Q is Open of War. It on his next basic attack, he will do physical damage and spawning a white ghoul. This ghoul will speed Yorick up as long as it is alive, as well as attacking enemy players. Yorick's W is Omen of Pestilence. He spawns a ghoul in an area that will slow its target by about 10% for 5 seconds, and it will continue to attack the target. This is probably Yorick's longest cooldown, and it costs a lot of mana, so it's one that you don't really want to spam too often.
So, real quick, just this is kind of vital for in the moment here. I don't think any of us have Smite. Should I just go top with this guy?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, Sean, what should I start with here?
I would say start with your E, which is Omen of Famine. You can spawn it onto an enemy target. It will it'll attack your target as well as healing you for all the damage that's done to your target.
Excellent.
Which is very important against ranged characters, because they can obviously harass you pretty well.
Alright, so do you want to split the CS 3 and 3 kind of here?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
That way, both of us can kind of get that tier early and start stacking, because tier is one of those items that the more spells you use, the stronger it gets, correct?
That is true. you want to stack that up as soon as possible.
Alright.
I would say you take the melee minions, and I'll take the ranged ones.
Alrighty, sounds good. I'm gonna focus on trying to get these before they get into tower range. Important with Yorick, along with every champion, is the last hitting. Do you think we take Omen of Pestilence or the Lifesteal ability first?
If you've taken your E already at level 1, you already have that, so I'd say take the Q for the increased movement speed.
Is his Q a auto attack reset or no?
His Q is an auto attack reset, so if you auto attack and then Q, you can reset your auto attack almost instantly, which is really important in a lot of trades.
Right now, I'm watching and you went in there. I wasn't expecting it. That's my bad.
Quite alright, I'm just running down the harass to force them out.
Okay, right now, I now have one of each. Do you think our ghouls make us more tanky with his passive with each other's ghouls?
I do not believe that works. I've never played this game with Yorick.
Imagine that.
Oh, man. That was
Alright.
a
Very
little too
interesting.
slow. Because that would be a very large amount of tankiness, would it not?
Yeah, with potentially 5 times, what, that'd be like 15 ghouls on the field.
15 ghouls at 5%
like 100
each,
for
75%.
Oh yeah. I am not good at math.
So, what do you try to do early on in the laning phase? Like, what is your strategy with Yorick? What should they be focusing on?
Mostly you want to focus on just farming up and trying to harass your laner out of lane. Yorick's one of those champions that's very strong early game, and there is a ward in this bush. You want to be able to force your opponents out of lane and deny them farm and CS. Because Yorick scaling, it doesn't scale too well into late game. And for that, you really want to punish your opponents early.
I think we're achieving that top lane.
It is time for me to block back. You should be alright. I am going to back and get my tier since I do have the gold for it.
Alrighty, when you get back, I will back to get my tier as I now have the gold for mine as well. And it looks like I might get the kill. No, my ghouls were not enough.
I wonder if we can teleport onto each other's ghouls. I have
Try
never
it.
tried.
And you can! That is funny.
That is useful information for when they release Ranked One for All.
Is it going to eventually come out to ranked, this game mode?
I do not believe so.
Darn, I wish it did. This is a very funny game mode. Normally, you can't have duplicates of the same champion on a team, so to have 5 of one champion on a team is a very unique, fun experience in League, and I recommend you try it while we have the chance here.
Since
Gotta
we're
kill.
backing, I am going to try to take their blue buff. Blue buff is really good on Yorick because it just regens his mana. It also gives him 50% cooldown reduction, which again, Yorick schools are about on a 10-second CD, so it's really helpful to have that 15% cooldown reduction you get with blue buff.
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice kill top. Making me proud.
Taco Bell
I
is
am
delicious.
flanking them. They are low on mana, so I'm feeling very confident. They missed me.
Oh man. And Sean, you were able to just walk into both of them there and actually win that engagement. You want to kind of walk us through how that worked?
Well, since I saw that the enemy players had very low mana, and they didn't really have a way to escape besides running back into me, I knew I could just walk up right behind them and take a little amount of damage as long as I knew which way they were going to be trying to escape to.
Good call. So right now we clearly have the superior amount of poke right here. Would you agree? Oh, and you just were able to get out of tower range there. It was a really good catch. Now, does our Q work against turrets?
Your Q does work against turrets, and also if you spawn your W.
Actually, my Q's not working.
So long as there's not a champion there, correct?
Yep.
Because I had an instant.
Or enemy minion.
I just kind of danced around all of that. We're gonna send that white one back. Ah, he tried to Q it, and we just learned that our minions are indeed invulnerable to Vigor's Q. Oh my goodness. Was that a lot of damage that they're able to...
I will defend you. They are about to hit 6, so I would advise you would back since you're really low.
Okay, I will be backing very shortly.
You can probably
I have one potion, and I do have the healing ghoul, so I should be able to heal up here and be okay for a little bit. So what do you think is the biggest asset that Yorick really offers, where it would be kind of when you pick Yorick? Like, when would you pick Yorick in a ranked match?
I myself would pick Yorick into almost anything, but for newer players, I'd say try to pick him against enemy top laners that really want to try to force you out of lane. And like I said, Yorick's probably one of the best champions at bullying people out of lane, so he's really a good matchup against any of the bruisers that are in meta right now. He is also good against a lot of champions that don't have dashes, junglers that aren't very tanky, since he has a lot of sustain, and his DPS over a long fight is probably the best in the game. Since he doesn't have burst, he relies on long drawn-out fights. That if you're being built as a frontliner or tank, you can really do a lot of damage against a lot of the frontline and even backline players.
Very cool. Right now, I'm just focusing on farming while Sean kind of takes the reins here, harassing the opponents down.
Every time that we stop one of their backs, it delays their time back to lane by 8 seconds. Something very important to note.
That is. I actually did not know that statistic. Or number.
Although he did just teleport back in. Still, that teleport could have came 8 seconds sooner.
Oh no, I got just stunned and hammered in by the other Vigor, but luckily I bought magic resist on my last back. So I wasn't...
One of the items I'd say you would rush after your Manamune would be a Hex Drinker into a Malmortis.
Alrighty.
Interesting.
And I was able to avenge Sean there and pick up the kill, but...
Oh, the double stuns are crazy.
Now I'd say buying the Maw Malmortius is a good buy because it gives both magic resist and attack damage. And against AP caster like Vhagar, the magic resist is very valuable for defense. Also, the attack damage that you get from it will give you bonus healing on your E, as well as doing more damage, of course.
So what kind of boots would you typically recommend buying on Yorick?
Normally, Yorick is very easily CC'd, crowd controlled, so you should be buying the Mercury Treads, which will reduce all stuns by about
35%.
35%. Yep.
Is there another item that does that, or just the boots?
There is also the, what is it called? I'm just quick looking it up here. There's so many items in this game. The Zephyr.
Not as good.
It is
Much
good
more
if you're-
expensive.
Yeah, if you're really late game and you find that you need some more damage or attack speed, you can swap it out for your boots.
Alright, so I'm going to grab those Mercury Treads right away.
Watch
Oh,
out.
I'm just gonna get ultra stunned here and killed.
I will avenge you.
Excellent,
did me.
excellent. That one kill is gonna be a huge win. Being able to bring it back to 1-for-1. Do you think the Spirit Visage is a good item on Yorick?
I would say it is a good item against magic damage dealing comps, but a lot of people don't realize that the Hex Drinker and Mortius items are actually more valuable and both magic resist and healing than the Spirit Visage is.
I would not have guessed that.
The reason for that is the AD, the healing off your AD scale is better than the 20% of increased healing that the Spirit Visage gives.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. Things I would have never known had I not been able to get you to wonderfully come on our little our blog here and help teach us about the oh so powerful Yorick.
You know, it is about that time that we just take the dragon. We could have taken that very early on, but I'm going to back quick and then come back for that.
I'm going to see if I can't steal their blue buff again. It's been a while since I saw the other Vigor. I think we can safely roam and take it.
I say go for it.
And I was able to get blue buff, so that's going to be super helpful. Because now I can just absolutely spam into the enemy players.
I would hide right there and then flank around them when I come in.
Alright, I'm ready to go. If
Because
you
we're
can
losing this tower
just
anyway.
go in.
Going.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness, I am not going to be able to do that quick enough. We are going to get the one kill there, but we're not going to be able to get both because he is teleporting out, which is a shame.
Unfortunately, Yorick doesn't have any hard CC to force people out of teleport. You just have to whack them as hard as you can and hope that they aren't teleporting into one of your teammates to hurt them.
So when wouldn't you pick Yorick in a game?
I definitely wouldn't pick Yorick into some of the more skill-based champions and high elo play, like a Riven player can really hurt on Yorick, because she is able to clear your ghouls out really fast, as well as maybe a Jace. His long range and poke is very hurtful to Yorick's playstyle.
What do you think is Yorick's hardest counters? Like, what champions really cause Yorick to kind of struggle, and what champions does Yorick really tend to succeed around?
One of Yorick's biggest counters is Cho'Gath, a very tanky magic dealing champion that has a lot of AoE effects. is easily able to clear out Yorick schools in just like one ability. And even has the range to trade with Yorick. Another one, as I mentioned, was Jace, who's able to poke Yorick.
And we are going to get that kill. Wow, I did not actually expect that one to pay off. I was just trying to poke.
Damage.
I say we tower dive. And I will tank the turret here. Like, that's not a problem. That was kind of an error on their part to think that they could teleport in solo there with a huge wave coming. So do you want to explain kind of in a little bit more detail how Yorick's ultimate works and like when you should be trying to use it?
Yorick's ultimate, it actually makes a clone of either yourself or an allied character for about 10 seconds to fight in battle. It does affect his passive and gives a 5% defense and attack boost.
We are being ganked rather hard right now.
Yes, there are many Vegars in the area that...
Holy cow, 4 Vegars! I'm gonna be just flashing over the wall here. For us to only lose 1 in a 4 Veigar sprawl is quite good, though.
It allowed me to push top lane pretty far as well.
That's huge. So Frodo, how is it, since I know you are new to Yorick, how has been learning it with kind of the advice you've been able to gather from Sean?
I've just been sort of absorbing what's going on around me and listening to you guys talk, and just that alone has brought me definitely from noobish to alright, I would say. Wouldn't say I'm proficient, but
You guys do have that top tower down, though.
yeah, but they also have ours down, so we're kind of trading blows right now. I'm gonna run into some problems here. I've noticed that as Sean was saying, as soon as somebody has CC, you're kind of in trouble. So those Mercury treads are really helping. I'm just narrowly escaping those meteors.
I am 1v4ing in the mid lane right now.
I am pushing very hard up the side lane in the hopes that I can relieve some of that pressure or just completely take a turret. So after Maw of Malmortis, then, what do you think is going to be our next purchase here? Do you think we get the Mercurial's, what is it called? Spirit Visage, my bad. Do you think we pick up a Spirit Visage just because we are versus so many magic dealers?
Yeah, I think Spirit Visage would be a great buy right now. I'm trying to...
There is 1 AD Veigar on the enemy team.
Is there?
That's what I'm looking at. But it shouldn't matter too much. He doesn't do much damage yet. Yeah, Spirit Visage, I'd say that'd be a great buy right now. Since everybody does have the Mercury treads.
And I just dove quite a bit too far there. I did end up dying. So I will start right away on that Spirit Visage to try and reduce my damage. Do you think there's any that a Trinity Force or a Frozen Gauntlet in traditional games would be an effective item on Yorick based on his high spamming abilities?
I say Frozen Gauntlet is usually really good, and I usually build it on against AD enemy champions because it does have that slowing effect that helps Yorick chase down people, as well as the armor that you need for defense. Trinity Force, I'll usually build that into AP comps like this Veigar for the extra burst that it provides you. So I'd say that'd be a great 4th or 5th item.
Excellent, excellent. It looks like Pancake Waffles is going to get to pick up a kill there. I'm right now moused over him. I think I'm going to curve around to mid lane. Crump Cake is trying really hard here. I don't know which one. There's the AD Vigor. That's Icarith. He is our AD Vigor. I'm going to just spawn ghouls down in the hopes of... Do you think there are other alternative and effective ways to build Yorick?
There are tons of ways to build Yorick. There's been items recently released, like Dead Man's Plate and Derek's Cage, that are actually very helpful to Yorick, because they give Yorick a lot of defenses as well as attack damage.
It seems like a big team fight is breaking out right now, and we have one Vigor kind of pushed off to the side. Do you think we chase into him?
I say we pull off and go straight into these enemies here.
Alrighty, that is a decent call, and I did get one. That is going to be one kill for us. But I am rather low HP.
There he is. We got him.
We do have one Yorick that is flip.
And that is another kill that I was able to pick up using the build that you've recommended. I was able to take a lot of damage from them. And that one Yorick split pushing seems to have been able to get a turret potentially up there. Yes, he did. And so we're doing really good right now with Yorick versus someone who's considered to be one of the best champions in League right now. In my opinion, Vigor is very strong.
Looking at the top lane Yorick, he did build into a split pushing kind of role. He's working on that Triforce that does do extra damage to turrets. Off the Sheen proc. Using Q on a turret with a Sheen proc will do the full amount of damage to the turret. And ulting yourself will... your clone will actually also attack the tower, so it is a very effective way to split push.
I currently am trying to focus